to the podcast with me, your host, Pete Tigers. How you doing? You catching some fish? Having a good time? I hope so. I'm standing talking to you from the banks of the River Test. It's lovely. My friend Neil Mundy contacted me out of the blue and said, would you like to come up and fish? So, well, I'm doing the polite thing as any of you would do and say yes. First of all, I enjoy his company greatly as well. So it's a fun day already. And we started the day with a good breakfast in a farm shop. So proper sportsman's fried breakfast, which was very good. I'm a non-beans man with mine. I like it without them, but and tomatoes as well. And there was a situation once where a friend Stuart invited us for breakfast and his wife did some really nice tomatoes, and then I went to prong one of them with my fork and the contents of it disappeared up his wall. So I've steered clear of tomatoes ever since. But we're on the Test. The river here, you're not wading in it. It's quite wide. We're going to learn some more from Neil shortly, but it must be getting on for, let's have a look, 10:30. We've been fishing for about 20 minutes, something like that, trying to figure things out. There's a few mayfly around. There's a few fish rising, not hard. It's after that, I think it's the 2nd of June. It's after that really warm spell, so it's cloudy here. There's a little bit of rain around. So it's not quite as hot. It'll be interesting. I always read years back that mayfly like a little bit of rain as well. So I'm wearing a rain jacket at the moment, but it's not cold. I'm in trainers and flats trousers at the moment. I actually saw a fish rise, covered it a few times with a mayfly done, some other stuff, casualty done as well, but no joys with that. And I had on my fly patch. My fly patch is covered with mayfly patterns at the moment because before the warm weather and me stopping fishing, I was fishing mayflies at home on the tour. I suspect I've lost that hatch now, but it's fun to be able to enjoy this. And then I'm fishing tomorrow with Warren on the Wylye, so we're heading down that way too. So that's going to be fun. But yeah, I put an emerger pattern on. It's like a big clink camera. It's not as good as Duncan's Mega May, but a fish came up and ate it. Followed it downstream. We saw it. I thought it closed on it, lifted, and wasn't to be. So it's an encouraging start. I'm more shocked than anyone else that one of my flies has actually worked. There's a little bit of wind. It's coming upstream. There's a few drops of rain now as well. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. Neil's got a French partridge on. He's been casting to a fish that's risen 3 or 4 times at least. So encouraging to see that. He's casting out absolutely beautifully. We turned up. The fun thing as well was that we turned up and I met him. And he had a VW camper van as well. And so we've been chatting about that, sharing notes about that, which has been nice as well. But he's going to go and put his rain jacket on now by the looks of it. But it's a really picturesque beat. Would I love it bathed in a little bit more light? Possibly. Looks as though we've got some rain settling in for a little bit now, but we'll see what happens. But that fish has stopped. I don't know if we've got some low pressure with this rain that may have taken the edge off things. We saw there's a carrier stream here, which I'm really excited about. I'm hoping I'll get to fish that. It's my sort of thing as well. But we're both fishing 25-year-old rods. Same model, actually, which is kind of nice. He's got a 9'5" weight. I've got a 9.5'4" weight, and they're perfect for this job. But on the carrier, I might get one of Warren's fiberglass rods out. We'll see what happens with that. But yeah, I think it was nice because we could see what was happening with the fish and see them in the water and their behaviour. Now with this lack of sun, probably going to be a little bit trickier to actually spot some fish, but I'm going to go and catch up with Neil and see how he's doing. So Neil, it's lovely to see you. Thank you first of all for a wonderful breakfast. Thank you for inviting me along today. I thought you were going to catch that fish.
I think it was just a bit short. It rose 3 or 4 times, didn't it? Quite confidently. But the wind and then this bloody rain started. And unfortunately, yeah. But this bend coming up is where the bigger fish lie. Normally, I always catch a fish there on that slight bend. And underneath the tree, we might try some one of your terrestrials a bit later on. But I think today's going to be a bit frustrating. Sunshine and showers, but mind you, that might not be bad for the fish.
So I had to put my microphone away for a few moments because the rain was heavy. The cloud is lifting. The rain's eased just a little bit. It was a short shower of 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes, something, no more than that. But Neil, I wanted to, for listeners, can you tell us a little bit about where we are today?
Yeah, so we're on the John Lewis waters of the Test. So the John Lewis estate, which was formed in 1920 when John Speed and Lewis bought this stretch of the river, the Houghton estate, the Houghton near the Houghton Club, and there's 11 miles of this beautiful river, 11 miles of river and carrier, split into 16 beats, managed by 3 river keepers, headed up by Tom Bird, who's the new guy that I know Pete's spoken to before. Great guy. Andy Bryant, who runs the top section, is another character on the river, and they look after this place. And it's beautiful. It's not kept immaculate. The banks are quite shaggy. Oh, nice fish just rose down there again, and it's beautiful, and anyone can come here. Just search Leckford fly fishing. You get a map that comes up, an interactive map. You click on the beat that you're interested in, and it will give you the availability of the days. You can pay online, turn up. It's beautiful. Turn up at 9 o'clock. All the beats are clearly marked. It's a lovely strip. Oh, and that fish is rose and again, right in the middle. Beautiful. Yeah.
Well, and I think, Neil, you've probably got to go and try and catch that one now. Now he's up again. We thought he would. The moment that water goes glassy again, then he started rising. And as Neil said, one further downstream as well. He actually, I didn't want to put Neil off, but he went while you were talking to me as well. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed. I'm going to come back to a safe distance, watch you weave your magic and see if we can find one of those fish. And Neil's been expertly covering a fish with his French partridge, no dice. So I said, well, have a go at my rod and see how you get on. And first cast, a fish came over, and sort of the only description I can make for it is pecked at it, and it didn't really eat it. It sort of at the very last second decided, no, I'm not going to eat you actually. So it might be my shitty time. That's probably what it is. But I wonder if that's what happened to the fish earlier to me as well. I wonder if there is an element of that in there as well. And of course I guess, it's Mayfly time, but I guess there's been a few anglers here and the fish have seen a few flies, and I wonder if they are just being asking a few more questions before they actually make a decision. But, standing here right now, I can see myself why, occasional anglers, and although we get Mayfly all around the country, why anglers flock to this part of the world for this sort of experience, the ability to see the fish, the ability to fish an amazing hatch, and see what's happening. And Neil was just sort of saying, it's enough just to see the fish come up and have a look at it. And it was wonderful just to see that. Although the end product didn't play out the way that we hoped or thought it might do, it was pretty damn close. And it's, again, it's early in the day, but I guess we're probably going to get a little bit more rain coming soon. That would be my guess with this. But I don't mind these conditions. It's warm, it's overcast, it's a little bit muggy. So, yeah, I don't mind too much at the moment. We'll see what happens. But, yeah, we're keeping working the water, looking for those rising fish. That's what we're doing. Somebody fishing on the far bank there as well. But the river's wide enough here that it's not going to get in the way of things too much. And I've always probably mentioned this on the podcast before that, for chalkstream fish seem to behave differently, that, if they see something they don't like, they sort of scurry around for a little bit and then head back to position shortly afterwards. So it just isn't a massive deal from that point of view. The afternoon's drifted away, really. I've been, if you know me, if you fish with me, I get transfixed by something. There were 2 fish I've sat on for nearly all afternoon. One was on the very far bank. It's a long, long cast. And the fish was tight in a little cut in some branches almost, where the lowest part of the tree comes down, and it wouldn't move any distance at all. And it had to be perfect, and I wasn't perfect enough for it. But there's another fish. It's a nice one. It's not been far out. And this thing I think I've risen it 5 times now, but it won't come up and finally eat. And it'll slowly and languidly and have a look and then move away again. It'll get within 2 or 3 inches, perhaps a little bit further away, and then we'll swing away from it again. It liked the fly when it's moved. It likes a big fly, and then you see it sip something, and you think, right, okay. And this is very, very occasionally, but this is why I fish. I love it for these moments. But the really interesting thing for me is Neil, as you'll know, Neil Mundy has been on the podcast. But getting to fish with these people is wonderful, and seeing somebody who has a great skill. And I said about the fish that I've sat on here, and he said he likes it more down his left side, and he was exactly right about that. And I love it when people notice those little nuances of the behaviour of a fish. And I watched him catch a fish on a nymph, and it was really, really skillful. And I know, Neil, your background as well is that you like stalking sizable fish in small still waters, and it's sort of when the fishing, and I will be honest, it's not been an amazing day. It's been a fun day. I've loved every single second of it. But those sorts of skill sets transfer, don't they? We're in crystal clear water. Yeah. We can see the fish and we can see the behaviour of the fish. Is that part of the thrill of it for you too?
Oh God, yeah. Seeing a big fish, and that fish we're looking at now probably 7 or 8 pounds on the bottom, hard, and it's twitched a couple of times and come up and looked. But that's exactly why I love the river test, because it's so clear. It's a bit like when I go to Rockbourne or Manningford, when you see a big fish in the water and you know that's the one you're fishing to, you cast your fly in the right direction, you see the fish react a little bit, you tweak it a little bit, you may put it away, you may go again, and you see this thing come, gills flare, the mouth opens, closing, bang, and you've got a big double on the line. Oh, for me, that's what I love, you know. And all the clubs I fish for, the John Lewis Club and the Real Friends Club, we all have a prize for the heaviest aggregate weight. So when you've got a big fish like that, you know, Christ, I'm in for a shout today. It may be my turn for a cup, or it may be my turn for a 10-point maximum for the day. But it's just. I just seeing the fish in the water, seeing it react on a lovely river like this with the settings. You know, we've had red kites and Sette's warblers and all sorts singing today. It's been lovely down here, and you can't beat it. You really can't. Lovely surroundings.
And it feels as though we've had to grind the fish out, haven't we? There's, I'm watching a mayfly come down the river. There's a couple coming down the river right now, but the fish have really not sort of been on it, have they? We've had to really stick at it to find the fish, and it just feels as though where we'd had that warm temperature, we've had a big shift in temperature, haven't we? And it's got that feel that's had something to do with it today. And the fish, although there's some stuff knocking around for them to eat, there's one just risen upstream of us there that we'll keep an eye on, and there's the odd fly coming down. It must be getting on for, blimey, it's 3:30. So I had absolutely no idea what the time was. I was so transfixed on this fish that I don't know how long I've stood here. I've made numerous fly changes. Trying to figure that out is really, really good fun. So it'll be interesting to say Neil felt that 3 p.m. might be sort of the time, and there's definitely the odd fly coming down the river, but not in numbers that it's provoking fish to say, come on, I'm going to eat you. As I said, we're watching for any signs, and that a lot of the rises have been oncers at the moment. That seems to be how it sort of played out. But I wanted to switch as well, because if listeners remember the podcast that Neil was on, he does some amazing charity work, and you've got an event that you're putting together. I heard you take a phone call as well, so it sounds as though that was something to do with it as well. But what have you got planned on the charity front right now?
So we've just had the a disabled children's fishing day, which I run every year. That was in April at Meon Springs, and that was fully attended, and that was the 39th year we've run it. So next year it's going to be the 40th anniversary of that event, and it's fantastic. Having 30 disabled kids in wheelchairs catching fish, laughing, joking. And we have a big barbecue at lunchtime, and that's probably the most tense fishing day of the year, because if you're catching and someone else 2 pegs up is not, the child soon tells you about it. But that's fun. But then the next event I've got is the Wild Trout Trust 3 fly. That's the 17th year we've run the 3 fly at Meon Springs. It's fully booked now, I'm pleased to say. We've got some great, look at that lovely rise in the middle there. Lovely auction lots at lunchtime. It is going on the Meon Springs website, so if you want to bid on anything remotely, then have a look. It'll probably be on there at the end of the week. I think Charles Jardine's going to come down for that event as well and paint one of his pictures, hopefully, throughout the course of the day, and we'll auction that off at lunchtime as well. So we normally raise probably about 3,000 to 4,000 for the Wild Trout Trust every time. They donate a lovely sage rod as first prize for the points winner, and you get more points if you catch on we've got a small little buzzer we're using this year as a maximum points, and the lure is sort of the minimum points, so it encourages people to fish on top and test their skills, really.
Well, that sounds fantastic. I wish you every success with that. We were going to continue doing it, but we've seen 2 fish rise. They look like mayfly rises, so let's see if we can catch fish. One of the things I realise is sitting on a fish, you tweak and make micro changes. And one of the changes I made was I often don't bother when I'm ginking up my fly. I don't bother ginking the underside of it. I kind of like the feet sitting in the water or the hackle sitting in the water a little bit. But I thought with this fish that was being so problematic that I might try something different. And like I say, he started having a look when I was doing that. So I've applied that. And the fish, the hatch is spluttering, but we started catching fish, which has been really good fun. I heard a shout from Neil that he said he pulled the one I've been sitting on all that time. Typically, he covered and it came up, and he said he just pulled out of it. So that's a moral victory, if nothing else. And that's the nice thing. You can take pleasure in someone else looking at that fish slightly differently, doing something slightly different. And it's even cooler when it almost comes together. But really exciting things starting to happen just a little bit here. That was weird, wasn't it? The moment it looked like it was all happening, it was just a brief window that opened and then slammed shut quite quickly, didn't it?
Yeah, we had about 15 minutes there, didn't we, with fish, mayfly, big fluffy pattern, couldn't go wrong, cover a rise, fish. And then it stopped, absolutely stopped, stone dead. Very strange. But we did have a lot of rain last night, didn't we, I suppose? But it was, mayfly is not always easy.
No, that's the wonderful thing, is that you think it's going to be the perfect day. And of course, when people take a day off work and book some fishing and you hope it is perfect conditions, it isn't always the case. And it can be heartbreaking, but sometimes just taking a bit of time. And, this fish that, as I said earlier, that I sat on and then Neil got him to take, I'm just waiting. I'm waiting for another clue from him. It's really peculiar the way that he's operating, that he'll rise to something, he might eat a mayfly dun, then he'll sip something in the film. I've tried spinner, spent as well, and nothing there for him. So I'm just waiting. And sometimes often on here I say, there's a fish high in the water there, just had a look at something a little bit further across, but again, didn't commit. But just taking a little bit of time, watching, seeing what happens, look for those clues. And then sometimes a tough day, and this morning sort of persevered with the dry, and there was just nothing going on. And sometimes those windows, if you are observant, they open up and then you can see what's happening. And, we plotted ourselves in slightly deeper, slower water where we thought if the mayflies were coming off, it's shaded as well. So the far bank has trees almost, there you can make a cast there, but that's shading a large section of the water that we're looking at the moment. So that made sense to stay there. And we've barely moved, really. We've worked up and down the bank looking for anything that, if there's a rising fish, or if there's somewhere that just gives us a little bit of a clue as to the behaviour of fish or the flies that they might be eating. So a similar pattern has emerged towards the end of the day as well. The wind's got up a little bit. Don't think that's probably helping a great deal. Neil fished magnificently, had another one as well, which was really, really great to see. We had a look at the carrier, pretty quiet down there. So I think we're going to call it, but I was going to say just a huge thank you, Neil, for inviting me along. It's been wonderful to see you again, and it's been wonderful to see you fish, and I've thoroughly enjoyed your company today. So I'd just like to say a huge thank you, mate.
Yeah, very welcome, mate. Yeah, it's been a pleasure fishing with you. Testing day, really, unfortunately, but sometimes Mayfly's a bit like that. But I think we got some good fish. Shame we didn't get that big one, but he'll be there for another day, and you're most welcome to come back. And all the listeners, don't forget, this is a day ticket water. So if you want to come down to Leckford, just search Leckford fly fishing. All the beats are there. The map will come up. It's all interactive. Pick your beat. The dates that are available there. It's very simple, very straightforward. Recommend it.
Absolutely, and Neil's paid for today as well, so he comes along here and really enjoys it. And I've just come along. We've shared a rod and taken it in turns, so it's been great fun. So I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do next. I'm in the van tonight, so we'll see. I've got some work to catch up on. I've taken some photos, and I'll just have a relaxing evening and see how it all plays out. Slept in the van overnight and had one of those really good night sleeps. You're tired from fishing. I started the day early and my Fitbit thing says that I had 7.5 hours sleep. So I went to bed pretty early. I was tired, so that was nice. So I've got up this morning. I've had a cup of coffee. I stirred about 4:30 this morning. And it was bright sunshine, but that's been replaced by cloud now. A little bit of a breeze. I've just spoken to Emma and she said at home, they're giving strong winds at home, but a little bit cloudy. I've only got like a gilet and a t-shirt on, so it's not cold or anything at the moment. So we'll see what happens. I've got probably half-hour drive. I'm staying in Stockbridge, there's a campsite there. People know that one, I'm sure. I know Luke Bannister stays here. Jan Hobbits stayed here and a few other people as well. So stayed there overnight and then drive about half an hour, 40 minutes down the road. Meeting Warren. We're going to have breakfast at Farm Shop. I'm not going to go for the full fry. I had that yesterday. So I'm probably going to have a sausage bap or something like that and see how we get on. But we'll see how today plays out. I don't know what the Mayfly situation is there at the moment. So I'm sort of, they have sort of a online catch report, but of course I can't get on to get that at the moment. So it's on my laptop, but I'm not going to look and just go with the flow and see what happens. There might be some Mayfly around, there may not. I'm trying to figure out what to do as well. I spoke to the river keeper and he said there'd been some rain the day before, and he said some of the beats were a little bit coloured up. The Wylye can colour up a little bit sometimes. So I'm going to try and figure out what to do from there and where to go. And there's a small carrier that I think both of us like to fish. I'm quite tempted to give it a little bit of a go. Have a look there. And see what happens. But I'm sure we'll make up a plan. There's no, I like to go with the flow and go with what the consensus is, really. So we'll see. I suppose it's a bit of the guide in me that likes to try and figure things out. But we'll see how this all goes. So excited. Another day's fishing. The rain is falling. You may hear it in the background. The breakfast was good. It was hard to leave looking out the window, seeing the rain falling so hard, but rain jacket's on. We're in good shape. We decided to fish a small carrier stream. It's completely overgrown, and it's one of these things on a club water where you climb over the fence and then see that nobody's walked through all the undergrowth, so you feel like you've got a little bit of a chance. We're fishing little rods, Warren's glass rods. I'm fishing with my friend Warren today. And expectations weren't super high, but it kind of feels okay fishing a smaller stream when perhaps there's not much going on. You feel like you've got a little bit of a shout, and probably 3 or 4, there's not much room to cast. 3 or 4 roll casts later, a fish whacked my Mayfly, which I'm absolutely thrilled about. And it sort of is kind of nice that perhaps it does help set the tone a little bit for today. But always good to be fishing with you. That was a little bit of a surprise, wasn't it?
That was a great start. Yeah, we've literally clambered through the undergrowth. I'm not exaggerating either. It literally is jungle warfare for this first bit. And it's, for second, third chuck, he's literally walloped it, isn't he? So yeah, what a lovely start. This is wonderful. This is short glass and jungle warfare, which is what I love to do, as you know. So it's great.
And what about breakfast?
Breakfast was superb. Really was, yeah. I think it wasn't raining quite as hard when we were in there. Otherwise, I thought we might have stayed. If it was, we'd probably stayed there longer, like you said. But yeah, no, we're here now, so let's give it the best shot.
We fished the little carrier. Takes were good. Warren had them mostly, actually. I cracked for some reason. I can't remember why it was. I think we'd seen a couple of fish, and we'd floated the dries over them. There was just no interest at all. So I said, look, I'll hang a nymph off the back of the dry. Let's see what happens. And nothing happened. The fish didn't want to eat it. So I sort of stuck with that setup, probably to my detriment a little bit. But Warren stuck with his Mayfly and had some fish as well. So we've done okay there. It's sort of about coming up for lunchtime. We thought we'd hit the main river, which is nearby, just to have a look and see. But I sort of fished a lucky little spot for me, not because I catch fish there, I just like fishing it, just to see what happened. It seems pretty quiet at the moment. We were just having one of those conversations about, do we stick with the dries? And I feel like I'm going to crack a little bit, but we'll see what happens. Where we are is the wind is blowing a little bit, and I know when I phoned Emma last night, she said that they were giving gales on the local weather at home. Here I'd call it a stiff breeze, but nothing more than that. I'm fishing 9.5 foot 2-weight, one of Warren's again that he built for me, and it's coping absolutely fine. And we've got sort of some cover, and my hope is that with the cover from the wind that, you know, the bugs might hatch and perhaps something might happen. But it's early. My guess is it's probably going to be later on in the day that this will happen. And generally on Mayfly, as we said yesterday, probably, 3:30 might well be the time. But the beat here is a relatively long one, so we got plenty that we can play with. As I said, the question's going to be whether I'm going to crack with the dry or not. And said I've got a Mayfly on, which I'll stick with for the time being. There's a couple of where we're working up through. River's not wide here, but it's beautifully chalk stream. The bottom, lovely and clear. There'd been a fair thunderstorm here yesterday. I think I said on the segment I recorded yesterday that I spoke to the riverkeeper. Just wanted to find out how it was looking, but it seems absolutely fine. So, yeah, we're going to stick with it for the time being. And the question will be, will I crack or not on the dry and go? But the river, it's not wide here. It's probably 25, 30 feet across. There's willows hanging down. It's beautifully sheltered. I probably talked about it before that it's not manicured. It's fish first. There's little wild fish here as well. So we've seen a few grayling as well. See a Mayfly coming off ahead of Warren as well. So it's, I hate the term technical, but you've got to think about where your cast is and what you're doing and how you're placing your back cast, because there's always something here that will want to grab your fly. You wade in here as well, which is really nice, and I've often said when I'm wading that I feel connected more so to the river. So we'll see. But yeah, some caddis coming off as well by the looks of it. There's not a lot going on. And again, as I was saying yesterday, I wonder if this big shift in the weather has had something to do with things. So we'll see what happens, but I can chat with Warren in a minute as well, see what his thoughts are, and go from there. We're just waiting to see if we can see a fish rise. Yep, we've seen one right in the centre of the river. But we're just having a chat. What are you building at the moment, mate?
Currently on the bench is a Livingston 9 foot 4-weight Yellowstone in graphite, actually, not glass, but it's been fairly steady. I just finished a nice 6-weight streamer rod, which was something a little bit different, which was nice. It's gone off to his customer. He's happy as Larry with that. And the 7.9 3-weight glass is proving quite popular at the moment. But yes, it's been nice. It's been steady. And obviously the one you're holding in your hand at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was a birthday present from you. So thank you. I can say publicly thank you as well for that. Tell us a little bit about this one.
It's a 9.6 2-weight. It's a Tanitha 9.6 2-weight. It's graphite again, which is the graphite seems to be cropping up a bit more and more. But we're both quite impressed with that, aren't we? It's a genuine all-rounder, isn't it? Really, I've seen you throw in mayflies and then a bit of nymph in today when the wind got up, but it seems to be doing all right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an amazing thing about, I always talk about the all-rounder or finding the all-rounder. I've not Euro nymph with this rod, but it has an extension butt on it as well to make it 10'6". But I've been using it primarily as a dry fly rod. But today, well, we'll talk about that a little bit later, but there's been some spots where it's felt, they're not going to rise in there. It's too deep. So I've just hung a New Zealand indicator on, some yarn, and then it's been throwing 3.5 mil of tungsten down in some of those deeper spots. So, all-rounder is certainly the right phrase for it. But while we've been talking, you've seen that one going right in on the bank further. Yeah, there's been 2 or 3 fish rising, and I think the story for today has probably been sort of not quite. And people often talk about, there's fish rising here. It's pretty shallow water. Not expecting them to be sizable fish. I saw a rise as we came round the corner and was sheltered. The winds got up. You may be able to hear it in the trees right now. But in the flatter water, here is sheltered. And I think we've got a chance. And I actually snipped my nymph off because I hoped it would be the case. And perhaps just very occasionally I get something right, but we'll see how this one plays out. Warren's been sticking, though, with that was a slightly better fish, I think, with the dry fly, and it's been quite fun saying that. And I said, well, he's a bit like AK Best, if you've read the Gearac books, that he likes to stick with it, and that's kind of nice. And I don't think it's a snobby thing or anything like that, is it? You just kind of think it's fun, don't you?
It's just what I enjoy doing, yeah. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I haven't even got nymphs in my pack at the moment. It's nothing to do with feeling it's a better or superior method. It's genuinely what I enjoy doing in the summer, in the trout season. And do I catch less fish? 100% I catch less fish for it, but it doesn't mean it's any less enjoyable. It's just the way I like to fish for trout in the trout season.
And it looks like this spot might be okay if we're very, very lucky. It's skinny water, isn't it? But there's a few fish rising, aren't there?
Yeah, in this little bit here we're in, we've seen more rises in here, I think, than we have for the rest of the day. So we'll give it a go. In actual fact, there's another one just gone there. But yeah, sorry.
Let's see how we get on. So that's it for this little Mayfly special. It's not sort of punch the lights out of it. It's been, we've had to grind them out. And I think as a whole, that's how Mayfly has been for me since this as well. I've done a little bit of fishing since then. And even at home, we'd had a lot of rain. So the river had come up, and then my thoughts, whenever that happens, turn to salmon. So it's kind of fun from that point of view as well. But yeah, it's not been one of the memorable ones. I'm finishing this bit sort of mid-June, and I'm still getting some mayfly coming off on my home river. I actually rose one yesterday that didn't stick on a mayfly. It was one of those classic splashy takes. So I popped on one of Warren's mayflies, and lo and behold, fish ate it but didn't stick. But yeah, it's not been one of the great ones, I have to say. So I'd love to know if you've been similar. Where do you rate it? I'd give it a good 5, I think, probably. The hatch's been good, but it may just been the conditions more than anything else. So we shall see. So I look forward to hearing about that. But this has been another episode of the podcast. Thank you so much for listening to it. And as always, thank you so much for all the messages. Greatly appreciate them. And even 300 odd into this, I'm still enjoying doing it. And I'm still really working hard to make sure that the content that I give you isn't repeated, regurgitated. I'm just really trying hard to mix things up. And that's why I put these ones in. I know lots of people enjoy when I'm out on the river with people. And then lots of people also enjoy the interviews too. So one of the reasons I like to mix it up. So thank you for listening. There'll be plenty more coming very, very soon.
Thanks for listening to the Fly Culture podcast, brought to you in association with the Voice of Game Angling, Trout and Salmon, where Pete is the editor.